It is actually happening. As Brandon Bussi and Joonas Korpisalo are preparing to be the 1 and 2 goalies for the Boston Bruins, I'm going to be talking about this very unideal situation for the Boston Bruins as Jeremy Swayman still remains unsigned heading into training camp. And I'm going to explain why this ultimately may not be as bad as we think. If you want to stick around, get all of your Boston Bruins news, you are in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel. Just over 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot for all your Boston Bruins news, including the announcement and the long-awaited contract for Jeremy Swayman, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel as we cover everything Boston Bruins related. But obviously, we need to talk about this. This is a very unideal situation for the Boston Bruins, but they could be in a much worse and much dire situation compared to what they are in. So let's talk about what's actually happening. The goaltending situation for the Boston Bruins, Brandon Bussi, Joonas Korpisalo, likely going to be the 1 and 2 for the foreseeable future until we do see Jeremy Swayman signed. And even until Jeremy Swayman is signed, he has to get back into that hockey groove. He's not going to be at training camp, so even once he does sign, it'll still take him a while to get back into a regular NHL rhythm. But let's pull up our first little tidbit of notes here. The goaltending situation as it currently stands. First of all, Ryan Bichelle, Mikey DiPietro, and Nolan Meyer, as well as Casimir Cascusio, who they signed to a PTO the other day. All four of those goalies, are going to be battling it out for the AHL. As far as we know right now, and what it seems like from every direction, Brandon Bussi and Joonas Korpisalo are going to be the NHL goalies fighting for that number 1 spot that Joonas Korpisalo currently holds. So, for a purpose of this video discussing the NHL situation, we're going to be talking about Brandon Bussi and Joonas Korpisalo and a sprinkle of Mikey DiPietro as he is that third goalie, awaiting that chance news. Ultimately, as well as these two goalies earned a rightful chance at an NHL roster spot. So, mainly as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about those two. But let's pull up the stats here first from Joonas Korpisalo. And we know once we traded from Joonas Korpisalo from the Ottawa Senators that his stats weren't ideal. As you can see, they're on the bottom from the Ottawa Senators last season, a 890 goals against and save percentage and a 327 goals against. If that was an 890 goals against, we would be in serious trouble. But obviously, not the year you wanted to see from Joonas Korpisalo last year. Ottawa Senators, though, were not a good team. They struggled a lot on their offense, their defense, their goaltending, and nothing seemed to be going right for them last year. So I'm taking those stats with a grain of salt because if you look at the previous season with Joonas Korpisalo, although only in 11 games in the LA Kings organization, 213 goals against a 921 save percentage. That is quite good for a goalie who, even in the LA Kings, a very defensive system, worked out to be a very solid goalie for them and ultimately helped them in that season. And this is kind of what we're going to be seeing with the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins have a very good defensive team, a very good defensive organization that I think we could see some very good talent coming out of there to be able to help Brandon Bussi and Joonas Korpisalo. And I'm sure that's being the message across this locker room that we are going to be without Jeremy Swayman for the foreseeable future. We need to step up and help our goaltenders out, knowing that this was not the situation they expected to be in when they came into training camp, when they came into the preparation of this season. As we take a look here at a few of Joonas Korpisalo's stats, or highlights, I should say, what you can see here is he's still a very talented goalie, and when he's on, and that's obviously a big thing that you want to see, having the organization, the team helping him, and goalie Bob Essnesa in the organization helping these guys out. We're going to see a big revamped season from Joonas Korpisalo, and I know that we did see this with Linus Ullmark, not the same situation from Linus Ullmark, but a major boost in stats, play style, confidence in him when he did come over from the Buffalo Sabres. So that's another thing I'm excited to see what can happen, how this will transform Joonas Korpisalo's whole, I will say, career at this point right now. And obviously, there's still lots of time left until we do see this, and this is what Joonas Korpisalo had to say on the matter. It doesn't change my job, and quite frankly, I just want to focus on my job. Of course, he's a great guy. I got to work with him before the camp. Great guy, great goalie, just focusing on myself. So obviously, Joonas Korpisalo didn't want to get too much into it. He didn't want to say too much negative, too much positive, knowing that still, this is not the most ideal situation to be in, although he's very looking forward to this great opportunity that will be handed to him in this camp. And obviously, the number 1 spot won't be handed to him, but it's certainly going to be a big fight for it between him and Brandon Bussi, who as a tandem, I think, will work very, very well. As we move on to Brandon Bussi as well, the stats that we're seeing from him as a younger goalie at this time, 26 years old still, but has not had that really full NHL experience at all. Very good in the AHL. Very good province, 913 save percentage, and a 267 goals against last season. Season before, a 240 with a 924, and I still believe Brandon Bussi can be this number one goaltender. I've been pushing for him to be the backup, win me a trade as Linus Ullmark without getting a goalie, and obviously that ultimately didn't happen, but I firmly believe that Brandon Bussi can be an NHL caliber goalie and is right now, at this moment, an NHL caliber goalie, and only has time to get better. And with this team, this is the most ideal situation to hand to him in this, the whole system organization kind of cluster we're in right now. And obviously, he knows as well that this is not going to be given to him. This is not going to be something that is just handed to him. He has to work for this, knowing that Michael DiPietro is still right on his tail, being able to earn that backup spot if Brandon Bussi has a bad camp and Mikey DiPietro has a great one. We could see that surprising switch coming from the goaltending side of things and from the Bruins standpoint. But from the highlights you can see here, once again, Bussi's a very confident goalie, and that's no surprise to anybody who's at least watched one of his games. The confidence that he exudes in an NHL scenario, a goaltending scenario, an AHL scenario, wherever he is, shows to me that he's a confident NHL-ready goalie at this point. So I'm excited to see if he does end up making that potential number one spot, maybe a 1A, 1B situation for the beginning of the season, but I still firmly believe that he is ready to go on this. And this is what Jim Montgomery had to say about him. I think what gives us confidence is about Brandon Bussi is he has the ability to make the big-time saves. We've seen that in Providence. We saw that here last year on the first exhibition game, and that's an incredible save he made, but also it's a second and third effort. We talk about the Bruins having that, and that's something that he has in the crease. Once again, he never gives up on a play, and Jim Montgomery absolutely perfect example of what we can see and what we will see with Brandon Bussi. And ultimately, that seems to me like they're going to give him a fair chance to earn that number one spot. We also have a quote here from Brandon Bussi himself on what he had to say about the matter. A lot of things are just fine-tuning. Nothing is totally changing my game. Just trying to improve at everything a little bit. Just go out there, give it your best, earn everything, and that's the Bruins motto. I wouldn't want it any other way. And what a quote from Brandon Bussi, once again, not showing any confidence, or I shouldn't say that, showing confidence, but not showing any cockiness, not showing any thoughts that he may not be there. He's ready to go. He's giving everything got and just trying to get better, and that is the motto of a Bruin. And as I mentioned, the reason that I think this is going to be a quite surprising goaltending tandem, even if Jeremy Swayman does not show up to camp, does not show up in the regular season at the beginning, is Bob Essnesa. And Bob Essnesa is a goalie coach that is, I'm going to say, the best in the NHL. And, I could have some thoughts that people might not agree with there, but I think that he is at least one of the best in the NHL, if not the best. And here's another thing that I think Bob Essnesa is so good at. And another thing that Bob Essnesa, or goalie Bob, does very well is getting the goalies to tap into their full potential. The organization has almost gotten strong play out of whoever the backup is, which is an underrated importance to winning a hockey game. Good examples include guys like Manny Fernandez, Anton Hudobin, Chad Johnson, Yaroslav Halak, and even guys like Alex Ault, Dan Vladar, and Keith Kincaid, who were forced into the net due to injuries. And that's a big thing that we're kind of seeing here as well. Goalies that are pushed into a situation that they probably didn't expect right away, that they're probably not super comfortable with at this very moment, but Bob Essnesa will change that immediately and get these guys ready for what could be a full regular season of these two guys in a Boston Bruins uniform. So let me know what you think about this goaltending tandem. And I know this is not an ideal situation for the Bruins, for their fans, or for the goalies either, but I still have a lot of confidence in these two guys. Whether or not Jeremy Swayman does play this point in the season is out of our hands now. We'd seen what was coming out of it. December 1st at the latest could be that date. And if it is, there's nothing we can do about it. But these two goalies have to be ready, and I'm seeing a lot of confidence so far from training camp, from what they've been saying, from what we've seen in the past, and especially Bob Essnesa, Goldie Bob. I see a lot of potential in this team. So, like I said, let me know what you think about this whole video, what you think about these guys starting this season in net, and who do you think will be that number one goalie come regular season date? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.